Share screen. How you guys all doing today?
Good.
Good. How you doing, Paula?
Doing well.
All right. Did you bite the bullet on COVID or
I sure did.
good? Glad to hear that.
Oh,
Sorry to
sorry.
hear that. Yeah, you did not get exposed. Good. All right. Let me share my screen. And we'll get going here. All right. I don't know if you guys are aware that Adobe's added some more toys in, or actually tools in. Depending on how you use them. And I was just gonna run through at least one of those right now. I've got a couple examples up of some of your work here today, and
That right there. Is
Yeah.
that from us or from?
yeah. So I'm gonna start with one of Alan's images. And
Yes.
No, that's his.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Okay.
It's
This is yours. Okay.
light brown.
Mhm.
Down.
But what I want to do today with this image is I want to cover point color, which has been added to the color mixer, which in Lightroom used to be hue saturation and luminance, and now it's also called color mixer. And you can pick up to 6 different areas you want to work on as long as they have some tone in them. So for instance, if I grab my little eyedropper here and I go up here, you can see it says the color is too neutral. It doesn't have any kind of hue in it. So it has to have some color in it. Like here, you can pick that. But if it's just plain white or plain gray or plain black, it's not going to give you anything. So let's say we wanted to work on her eyes. We could pick that tone. And there's a couple of different ways you can manipulate the tone. You can move these around, or you can go into your sliders. So like if you wanted to increase the saturation, you could.
Now, are you in Camera Raw or are you in Photoshop?
I just pulled up the Camera Raw filter in Photoshop because, these were already presented, they're JPEGs. But yeah, your normal workflow would be to bring them into either Lightroom or Camera Raw and then use this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and so you've got these 3 sliders here, and then you have this range slider, which you can kind of see in the color area. Let me get my cursor here so it's a little easier to see. In this area here, when you affect this range, it'll either broaden it or limit it. Now you've got more control if you open this little triangle here, where you can actually, that little dot is the point that you put your little eyedropper on to get this color swatch. And then it gives you the full range of hue, saturation, and luminance. And there's ways you can limit it by either sliding the box in or expanding it out.
Now, can you give a before and after?
Yeah,
On that?
that's before, that's after. So you can see yeah, it's working on the eyes.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. So when I first started on it, it wasn't getting her left eye very well. So I'm expanding it a little further to get more hues. And you can see that you can kind of play with the saturation, and you can kind of clip where it goes. Like that's totally saturated. You bring it down so it doesn't get so overly candy colored. You can see on that red eye isn't so much anymore.
Right.
It's more subtle.
Now, Sandy, I mean, obviously, there are 2 eyes,
have different light. I mean, they're reflecting different colors.
Mhm. Yeah, so the eyedropper is gonna be really specific in this case. This is really meant to get in on something that you just wanna get that one little area. And then you can also limit it by putting it through a localized filter, just painting the area with a brush where you want it to be.
Right.
If it's affecting too much of the area, I can show you that in a little bit here too. So again, if you're happy with that, then we can grab the dropper and say we might want to play with her lips. So we'll click on that. And you can see the hue range and the luminance range here. And again, you can play with the sliders. So if you wanted to, oversaturate that, you can see the skin tones are coming up with it, right? So you can localize that a number of ways. One is to put it through a local filter, or the other is to clip it down with these. So if we're just dealing with the saturation, we may want to, move this down a little bit and move the hue over. So you can limit where these show up. I believe there's a map here. Yeah. In black and white, it'll show you the area. If you click on this, it'll show you the area that it's affecting. It'll stay colored and everything else will go in black and white. So you could use that kind of as a guide too. So there's a number of ways to kind of localize this. And again, you can pick up to 6 different areas to work on, and you can click back on them. So like if I want to go back to the eyes, there's the eyes. There's the lips. Click on this and we can get something else, maybe something out here. Now, when we get that one, I think it's gonna probably affect. Yeah, it's gonna affect her skin tone too. So you don't want to do that. So basically I would probably, limit this area a little bit. Let's put it up a little so we can see it. Kind of limit this area a little bit.
Wow.
And move it more toward where.
So Alan, does that look like her, or is that too much red in the face?
Well, no, she's quite light colored, So her skin here looks a little bit colored, more colored than it normally is.
So you can see right now, it's pretty much affecting this area here. So you can limit it down that way. So again, if I was going to reject and do this over again,
Well, what panel are you in?
I am in camera raw.
It's exactly the same Lightroom though.
Exactly, yeah.
Ah, okay.
So if I was bringing these images in raw, I'd start with camera raw or Lightroom, and that's where I would find it. If I already have the image in here like these are, I would go to filter and down to camera raw there and get it that way. All right. So the other way you can do this is to grab your local filter, pick a brush, or even any of these types of masks you want to use. Let's, in this particular case, use a brush, and maybe we just want to go in these 2 areas here, okay? Got a yellow mask.
They're here.
Exactly, Well, once we have that, then we can go down here to and run it through a mask, doing the same thing you would just do with point. So if I get down to point color here,
Hmm.
I would just grab that. And again, I could kick up
Wow.
the saturation.
So it's just within the mask here.
Yeah, you know, actually, I think a better example would be, let's make a new mask here with a brush. And I'm just gonna do this area here. Okay. Maybe we just want to affect that area. All right. So now it's specific to that area.
Yeah, and it's not affecting your skin. tone.
So you can control it more that way if you can't get it by moving the range and the clipping on the individual sliders here. So two different ways to do that. So I'm just gonna delete these real quick. All right, and then the other thing they've added, and I'll have to look for it in here because I don't use it over here that much, is lens blur. That's a new feature.
Mm.
Yeah, I've been trying to use it.
Yeah.
There's no access.
Yeah.
Once it's really.
Yeah. Now, this picture, it's probably not a good representation because it's already got a fair amount of it. So let's go over to Dave's and,
Wait, I had one question, Sandy.
yeah.
Alan, on the original photo, how did you get it so brilliant and blurry? Was it overexposed or direct sun or what?
No, it's pretty well the way it is, and I did put an effect on it, and I can't remember what it was called, I think it was I could see it on, I could see the menu.
You know, I think, let me find a little better example. Let's see if it works on this one. So to start lens blur, right now it's in early access beta. There's an apply button. So you put that on and that'll start looking for what's close and what's far. Let's see how it's gonna deal with this one. I guess it
Hmm.
did take the side panels down. Now you can increase that blur or decrease it.
Wow.
And you can also paint it in with a brush. And there's a boost there. There's a visualization map that'll show you the areas, black being where it does the most and the yellow being where it doesn't do anything. Kind of shows you how it spreads it out. And you, again, you've got an area here where you can get very specific and you can extend that range if you want, you know, to have it be affected. And if you turn that map off, you can actually see it while you're playing with it on the image. So see, as I come in here, her face is starting to go.
Hmm.
Whereas I can feather it out to about there. And maybe I want to make more of that. So if I go this way, the background is going to be sharper. If I come this way, it's going to become more blurry. So you can feather it up that way. And
Can
then,
you knock out, like, for example, her sunglasses seem a little bizarre to me. If you cleaned them up, got rid of the or put a mask on there, can you do that in this particular situation?
I don't know if blur goes through a mask. I don't think it does. And let's try a local mask and just see real quick. I don't think it appears. So we'll just make this 0. Make sure it's all the way up. All right. I don't think it's in this area at all. No, point color is curves, No, it doesn't show up.
Okay.
So yeah, you cannot do it locally at this point. So, let's just look for another example real quick. Let's see, Jim, if you got something.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe we might want to change this image a bit. You get it? Yeah, I need to cancel out of this. There it is. All right. So if we take this into camera on. Or again, you can do this when you're first importing or bringing them in before you start working on them. You can do it in Lightroom as well. So here's your lens blur. Again, you hit that apply button, that begins the process. It starts figuring out where things are. And then here's your amount, so you can start. And it really hasn't figured out. It's thinking this is the subject, which is wrong. So it's still in beta. You have to play around, but you'll have the ability to, paint out the areas you want and the areas you don't want. This one's slightly different than the one that's in Lightroom for some reason. I don't see a brush here yet. Interesting. All right. Well, the one in Lightroom, you can add areas that you want blurred or subtract areas that you don't want blurred. So you can basically, like painting a mask, you can tell it where you want it, where you don't want it. So I guess that's not over here yet.
Well, yeah, because I ran that through a sharpening
Mhm.
program, because I wanted the boat to turn out real sharp, and
Mhm.
so, on the one on the jump drive that I gave you, it clears it up somewhat,
Okay.
but anyway.
All right. Well,
we'll guess we
yeah, I'm gonna actually plug that in and. See some other so, yeah, we'll pull those over while we're looking at the rest. Right, then I will just pull those in on the desktop.
Yeah, there's about 3.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then just drag them all over there, and those will be the primary ones.
All right. So we'll just use these. Okay, good enough. So that's copy and we'll get started. Okay, let's start with Alan's and we'll just go down the list here.
Yeah, I've taken this shot before, and in this particular version of it, I softened up her face by reducing. If it was in Lightroom, I'd be able to tell you the
Clarity?
clarity.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Mhm.
So I read somewhere that, if you do that, it really softens up the hair. So I
Correct.
thought I'd try that, so it gives it a kind of ortone type
Mhm.
effect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes her look a little more angelic.
Look,
Now, that adjective doesn't go with this granddaughter, right? Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Anyway, they were over for a visit and she was dancing around in the backyard, and this is just one of the candid shots I got over.
Okay, so question, was there any detail in these highlights at all that you could have brought in by dropping
I
highlights
didn't
on?
really try, to be honest. I think,
Okay, and then when you did clarity, did you do it overall or did
just
you
really around their face.
just on her face? So you did a mask here? Okay, good. Yeah, because that was my next question, if maybe it affected this area or more than it already was.
Mm.
Okay, so you've
So is
done,
their hair a little bit too blowing out? Is that what you're thinking? Or-
yeah, it'd be nice to see just a hint of some detail in here, if you've got it, if you don't, You can take a look at it, although you're gonna have more in the raw than we've got in this JPEG, but, yeah, let's,
Yeah, Sandy, what I do is, in a situation like that, is underexpose it quite a bit and then bring it up in post-production.
mhm.
Is that the way you normally do, or you?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the subject matter, but yeah,
Well, I'm
if
just
you,
saying
if
this
you,
one here.
this one's pretty contrasty, so yeah, I would, you know, if you have a mirrorless camera, it's really easy. You can just adjust down so you start seeing detail there as well as the metering. And depending on how your metering is, I mean, if you're doing spot metering, you can do a spot for this area and maybe leave it a hair over or on, or a hair under, depending.
The problem here is he's jumping all over the place.
Yeah,
It's like changing every second. so-
Yeah. that's the other problem. So, yeah, exactly. But let's just look really quickly. I'm just gonna do it overall. It looks like there's a little more detail there. You can probably pull the whites down a little bit. When you pull the whites down, it gets a little gray. I would probably do this through a filter, I mean, locally through a mask rather. And, in that case, we can do something like this. Instead of using a brush, we can go down here to range and go to luminance. And then you'll want to pick this area here. You got that eyedropper again. I'm gonna make this red so it's easy to see. All right.
Hmm.
So again, you've got these ways of choking that mask down to where you want it, so you can adjust it this way. And then I like to leave it feather a little bit. Now, if you don't like it in these other areas, you can get rid of that, but let's see how it affects it first. So we're gonna go in here now and we're gonna pull our highlights down and our whites down. Now, when you pull the whites down, you see what happens. You start getting gray. You can get it down a little bit, and to counteract that, you can add some yellow, just a hint of warmth. And maybe if you want to, a little magenta. I don't know that it's doing enough here. Yeah, looks like it's pretty much washed out. You're not getting much detail here. Once you have your correction in, you can start pulling this out and see how it affects other areas. So right about there, I think it might. See, if you go too far, it starts banding like here, you see where it's banding. Yeah, so then you want to pull it back a little bit so it blends nicer. There you go. Yeah. So you can play with it that way and then go back and adjust again if you need to. You know, maybe just put a little warmth in there. And yeah, something like that maybe. So that's your mask. If you want to see it before and after, you can hit the eyeball there. Now, once you've got it all the way down and it's done, you can also adjust it. Where is it? Where the name is. You can rename these masks too, by the way, but there's an amount slider. So rather than tweaking all of them a little bit to get it less or more, you can do the whole batch with this. So you just kind of finalize it right there. So maybe I might want to write about there. Yeah. So that's how you fine tune it. Okay.
Mm, nice.
Yeah,
Too McCockery, huh, Alan?
There was a lot of people
A
there.
lot of people.
You were
In
saying
fact, how did you get rid of them?
With a way that.
And I didn't even take my camera, I just used my phone.
Yeah.
A few, but, I think this was the best one I had. There's not much to say.
Yeah,
It was about 10 seconds.
you get rid of them by waiting them out. The other way is to shoot a whole bunch from the same point of view, and then you take them and stack them, and then there's a way to get rid of them that way, but it's a fair amount of work.
And it's a really nice place to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Beautiful shot.
What time did you go?
Well, we went later because we had done early before and lined up, so we went for like 7, just after 7 o'clock.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
so we went early, we got there about 6:15 and we were in line
Yeah.
to get in, so we do it again, I believe, later.
We still had a bit of a lineup to get through the church.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Nice.
That was a beautiful night.
Yeah, it was.
So this is actually kind of midday shot, to be honest with you. It's a place called the Vano in Edinburgh, and that's Edinburgh Castle in the background there.
Uh-huh.
So it's a kind of famous little staircase, very steep staircase. And I really wanted to take some of these shots at night, so I kind of darkened this one up and added a little bit of light to the lamppost there and
Mhm.
all the lampposts all the way down and. Yeah.
Great job.
Now, was this highlighted area warm before, or did you warm it up a little bit? to
I
make-
probably warmed up. a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, kind of tied it together. Gives you that warm and cool.
Gives you the effect of the light.
Right, right. So it looks like it's,
It's a really, well, it's been photographed to death, this is like everything else, but
mhm,
it's, interesting stuff.
yeah. So, nice dusk effect.
And this was just from the other day there, if you remember, we had a pretty heavy mist. So I was out there, I was actually the first one there that morning.
No. Yeah.
I did soften this up a little bit more, so
Mhm.
it was nice and soft, but I had that ortone effect to it a little bit.
I
Mhm.
like that, that's really,
Now, is that a stick in the water bite or?
It is.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
like that stick, you know.
Well, we-
So did you do this in Neo, or
Sorry?
did you do this in Luminar Neo with the Orton effect, or did you just use the Lightroom?
It was on, what's the program called? Neil?
Yeah, you did use Neo. Yeah, yeah, that Orton effect's kind of nice. Yeah. Almost looks painterly.
Mhm.
Very soft, I like the
Yeah,
softness of it.
nice.
I like the colors. So we got the blue in the sky, but then we got the deeper blues of the water.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And the lake as well, or the pond. And it's a little flycatcher. And this is actually from the same burst, not necessarily sequential order, but it's from the same burst of images.
Mhm.
So I just thought, I liked all of them, so I decided to put them all together.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Now, did you just bring them up and composite them in layers, or did you try doing it with the panorama? How did you compose the three?
So I was in Photoshop and I expanded the canvas. And I brought in, I had one of them and then I brought in the other ones.
Okay, so you did it with layers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then how did you get rid of the line of each?
Well, I just smoothed that out a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. There's
It was similar.
there's a
If you
hint
look
of
at it,
something there,
there's
yeah.
one there.
Yeah,
But you did
Yeah.
a good job.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, real nice.
Yeah, it wouldn't take
Well,
much
what,
to
what
fix
was
it.
interesting about this, that yellow in the background is the leaves on the trees,
Mhm.
Mhm.
a nice contrast. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
what was your shutter speed?
That's quite amazing.
yeah, about 2000.
Wow.
Yeah, it was up there. Yeah. I like this guy. He looks like
Yeah.
he's the dive bomber.
Yeah.
They also have in other words, different stages of light,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
That you got, which is kind of interesting too.
yeah, this Fanning's nice too. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all real nice.
Very nice.
Good job. All right, Dave, you are up.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, you've already seen this one. Sandy's been talking about it, but so for the new year, new style, I'm exploring further with the digital alteration program. Now trying out the watercolor feature, and really exciting results, really different, really cool. So most of these that you'll see today have very long zooms, like I'm across the street or across the park or quite far away. So they're handheld zoom, so that gets that diffusion automatically in the background when you're zooming it. What, Sandy, it closes the depth of field, right?
Well, actually, yeah, it reduces the depth of field. So,
Right.
yeah.
So these effects were not made in the Photoshop, the background. And what I'm doing with this experimental work is I'm taking side panels that weren't there and juxtaposing them in creatively to create a composite picture.
Mhm.
So that's a watercolor rendition.
Nice. I like the interplay and the reflections in her glasses
Yeah.
really go well with the panels that you introduced on the sides. Anybody else have any comments on this? Okay,
Very good.
yeah.
You know, Sandy, with this digital alteration, you can pluck pictures out of your backstock that you never thought were going to come to anything
Right.
and run them through a program, and wow, you know, lo and behold, you really got something.
Yep.
So this session, I've been working on portraiture. So I plucked out some pictures in my backstock and brought them forward into compositions. This woman was working at the Tombstone Courthouse Christmas caroling event.
Mhm.
And so I snapped a few of her from across the room. At some point, I think there was like a flower arrangement in front of her, which caused the diffusion in front of her.
Mhm.
And so I put her together and then ran it through a watercolor program. And I like the results. I call her Honeybee because she has this golden color with the black, and it kind of reminded me of a honeybee. So
Yeah. Yeah, I like the way the glasses,
Mhm.
yeah, they're kind of a nice feature. They're almost
Sandy, what I would remark about the glasses is I wish that on this third panel, I still had that reflection on the glasses, you see, because
Yeah.
that's kind of singled out.
Well, I'm not so sure it's in this
No?
one either. I think that's probably the whites of her eyes. Yeah. You know, I think in
Yeah.
this case, maybe it just eliminated it here and then let it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So if and when you start going into some editing programs, you can revisit this and eliminate that or add it to the other two.
right.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm having fun with exploring the different filters. You know, I've been using the graphic novel, and this time I tried watercolor.
Yeah, I like the results. And
Yeah, me too.
I like this particular way you've been working your images with the main image and the side panels,
Mhm.
and the fact that you're exploring it and taking it further,
Yeah,
it's working out. So keep it up.
thank you.
Yeah, let's see this next one.
This woman was observed in Laguna Beach, and I did a composite image. She's adorned by a tangle of sculpture, and her gesture kind of, at first I called this picture, huh? But then I changed it to, oh my. And I think the watercolor did a wonderful effect on her skin. It kind of looks paint, what's that called? The brush, spray brush. What's
Oh,
that
an
called?
airbrush?
Airbrush. Thank you.
Sure.
And it blurs the foliage in the background, and I'm exploring different adornments on the side panels, and I think this turned out lovely.
Yeah, I like this reiteration of her arm with these sculptures as well.
Yeah.
Her arm and her hand. I think that works out nice.
And you got some reference to place. She's wearing the LA Dodgers
Mhm.
uniform shirt, and this watercolor feature, I think it turns out beautifully. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Well, it's certainly colorful and yeah,
Yes.
nice style.
Okay. Now this one, Sandy, I took an element from a previously submitted photo to you that was called the curtain, and I selected out the two icons, the crown and the heart,
Mhm.
which has caused her to become Queen of Hearts.
Oh, there you go.
So there's some reflection. She was a 1920s flapper,
Uh-huh.
and there's some window reflection, which causes these strange incongruous junctures. And I flip-flopped, rotated, and added the middle color. And I'm doing a lot of cropping. There was a London Bobby standing right behind her, and that just looked all too much like Madame Tussauds.
Oh, there you go.
So she rendered beautifully in watercolor, and there you have it.
Yeah,
Nice.
nice.
Where did you get the image of the woman?
This is an antique store in Long Beach, Washington. They have lots of mannequins. She's a mannequin. You
Ah,
could see, right? Or did I fool you?
yeah.
You didn't hear my comment, Dave. I said it looks like a David Bowie album cover.
Oh, cool, Alan.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Here's a man looking through the world in rose-colored glasses. Took a couple shots from across the street. It's a long handheld zoom. Beautiful color. Sometimes I experiment. Should that be on the right, the left? Should I flip-flop it, switch, rotate? And I liked it how the plant came in out of nowhere, just an incongruous juncture. And I think he's dressed in a wonderful sort of Victorian garb. And I think he looked right at me, and he didn't seem to mind. And
Well, that's always nice.
yeah, I love this watercolor effect. I just discovered it
Mhm.
in this last session.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're coming along on this. Keep it up.
Thank you, Sandy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, Dave.
This is the whole rainforest in Washington. Wow.
Is that on the Olympic Peninsula?
Pardon?
Is this on the Olympic Peninsula?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
it's beautiful.
west side of the peninsula.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah, just moss everywhere. Yeah,
Amazing.
gas days, so there wasn't much glare
yeah.
anywhere. I did this one quite a few years ago back when I was just using dip,
Mhm.
but I still like the colors. I feel like green.
Yeah, yeah. Something we
But
don't.
that's thick.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Which part of Washington? Yeah. Olympic Peninsula, but where in
Near Quinault,
Quinault?
you know where that is, on the western side of the peninsula,
Uh-huh.
north.
Did
of-
you have to hike in quite a ways to get that much
Oh.
moss?
Yeah, there's a trail going through there. Part of it is the Olympic National Park.
Uh-huh.
Part of it is the whole, or the Quinault Indian Reservation.
Oh. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I love the tree in the middle.
Oh,
Oh, this guy? Yeah.
Yeah. It's totally different than the three big ones.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little more of the around here.
look at that.
And topaz,
That's nice.
That's gorgeous.
chalk smudge or something like that.
Chalk smart. Yeah. Yeah.
Painting,
Beautiful.
then put a heavy vignette.
Yeah. The vignette, I think, really makes it, brings your eye right in there. Nice.
Hey, Dave,
Yeah,
I'd like to give you a compliment. You know, when I watched last session on YouTube, your bird of paradise was so beautiful, so colorful. The screen I'm looking on, I can't see all the rich colors. And I just wanted to compliment, that is the most gorgeous bird of paradise picture I've ever seen. And it's a very hard flower to photograph, Sandy, because it's splayed out, you know, right?
Yeah.
It's long like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to give you a compliment.
well, thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave, how did you, is that a short saguaro or were you up on something big?
That one, no, I wasn't on anything.
Okay.
It must have been a short one.
Yeah, I was gonna
It
say-
might have even been a limb off of you kind of see.
Yeah. You can kind of see the trunk back there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, now I see it. Okay. Just to be able to get the flowers.
Yeah. Sometimes they're way up there.
It's nice, Sean.
The swan was from Yellowstone
Mm.
National Park. Again, I put it in topaz and used one called Lily's Georgia, which kind of wiggles things.
Yeah, I'm gonna
around a bit.
come in a little bit so you can see some of that detail.
That's
It looks like it's got a little bit of canvas texture to it as well. Yeah. I really like the reflections.
Mhm.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, very nice.
Sandy,
Mhm.
this last picture of the saguaro flowering, would that be a perfect rendition of the lesson you're giving us on color and blur?
I think so.
Yeah.
If you didn't have it, you can certainly selectively add it.
Yeah, it's just perfect
Yeah.
I
many
thought
programs you
of
can-
the blur.
Yeah, you can do it. I think the only thing that's interesting about the one that's in Lightroom and Photoshop is with the artificial intelligence, it actually tries to figure out the distance and what would be sharp with the data it's getting from the camera and the lens,
Oh,
with that particular lens or that particular aperture, what you would see and how you could add to it more so depending on where you focused and giving it probably more range than you might normally get. Or you had a tighter aperture and you wanted to keep it sharp, more things sharp than you would say at 2.8 or something. It would kind of give you the option of getting it more like 5.6 or f8 and still blurring the background down to where like a 2.8 might be. At some point, it's gonna appear unnatural, but I think you can push further than you normally have been able to. And I think this is just the beginning of it. I think you're gonna have more control as it goes.
mm.
Also in Yellowstone, this is Mammoth Hot Springs.
Mhm.
Like the orange colors and whites.
Yeah, and all the minerals and. Yeah, I like the reflections of the sky too.
Mm.
The difference in the textures between the horizontals and the verticals. Yeah, very nice. That long crop really helps too.
Mm. Wow.
This is Mammoth Hot Springs also,
Mhm.
just a section of it. I like on the bottom is kind of, you see the shapes and the colors, and then the top's kind of in the steam.
Mhm.
That's brilliant.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's,
This in topaz also, and used a filter called Dan's Soft, which really muted the colors and softened it up.
mhm. Yeah, you get a real sense of depth here too,
Mhm.
you know, nice,
Nice.
thanks. All right, Jim, let's look for your stuff on the desktop, I believe I put it. Did it come over? Hmm. Maybe we just take it off of here. There we go.
Yeah, so this is a little, I don't know if you know the Copper Canyon.
Mhm.
So this is the people of the Copper Canyon, over in Taramaz. And, he's just a young lad that's, having a good time.
I'll bet. Nice. Again, I think this one would benefit from maybe pulling down the highlights and then adding white back until you start losing detail and then backing it off just a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, up in here. Especially up here, I think there's probably some good detail there. Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah.
And then, you know, with the local masking, you could probably bring his face up just a little bit,
Mhm.
you know, to maybe a little more from like the cheeks to the eyebrows, this area here. I think the chin and the mouth and the chin aren't so bad, but just a little dark in here.
Okay, good.
Do you want me to show you how to do that? Or do you?
Sure.
Okay, all right, so. I guess I quit Photoshop. We'll start her up again. Okay. All right, so. If it was raw, you'd bring it in directly through Camera Raw, but since we've already got it as a JPEG, we'll go to Camera Raw filter, which will basically mimic the same thing, but you'll get better results from your raw image. So you got your highlights here. You could do it globally first, just to kind of see what happens here.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah, so that helps a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta back it off, but yeah.
yeah. And generally what I'll do is I'll kind of overdo it and then I'll come back with a little white.
Oh, right.
You know,
Yeah,
and if you watch the histogram, okay,
Mhm.
if you go too far, everything starts stacking up.
Right.
Yeah, and that little triangle comes on, showing you that you overdid it. So if you back it off, yeah. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
a
I like-
little bit.
I've got a question for you.
Mhm.
When you're making these adjustments, I look at the image, right, and see what's going on. I rarely look at histogram, rarely look at that.
Mhm.
Is that wrong or what?
It depends. I mean, if you're just gonna be showing it on a screen, probably doesn't matter, but if you're gonna go out and make a print, when you start, you know, plugging up your highlights and your shadows, you know, they aren't gonna show any detail in your print. You might see more on the screen than you're gonna see in your actual photographic print.
But see his Coyetta
Yeah, he's still,
is still a little bit.
yeah,
off there.
yeah, yeah. Now, I'm guessing they might have a little more there, and if you don't, if you can't get it all in one, you might have to make another one. So basically, I take a little brush and just kind of go that way. And again, just come down and see if you can pull some more highlight detail out of there. Doesn't look like there's much there. Yeah, so in that case, you know, you got a couple of choices. You can kind of cheat it in with some gray like that. Okay. And then if you want to warm or cool it, you play with your color temperature. So in this case, it looks like it's a little cooler than white. So I take some of the yellow out. Go that way. So it doesn't look like it's so gray. I'm gonna overdo it so you can kind of see it. See how,
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't do that much, but You know, just kind of put a little coolness in there, so it's not just dead gray because you're underexposing the area purposely. And there's no detail there, so you just kind of cheat a tone in there, so it's not so apparent to the, you know, your eye doesn't go there as much as that. Now you can see I've spilled a little bit over there with the mask, so if I hold down the Option key or the Alt key on the PC and made a smaller brush there, I can get it off his face. There we go. You know, you can also show the overlay and see where it's showing, so. Yeah, I'm gonna put this up to 0, make sure my flow is up. But there you go, you can. So now you've got it just where you want it. Maybe you don't want it so much on the shadow side because it's already there. So now it's pretty much just in the area you want it. And just turn that back off so you can see what you're doing. And now you can play around with this a little more. There you go. So now I'd add a new mask and use a brush, or you can also use facial, you know, the people or subject mode, but generally if you're just gonna work on the face, I would just paint it in. Again, hold down your Option or Alt key and get it off the areas you don't want it on. Real quick, there we go. And that back, I would probably just first try bringing up some white a little bit and the shadow slightly. Maybe a little exposure.
Ooh,
That's probably a little too much, but yeah, I would probably somewhere around there. Now you see it's affecting that area out of his face. So if I hold the Option key down, I can kind of blend that down by reducing the flow of the brush. So I could take that down and just take it off the area where it's doing a little too much. Just click and wipe it, kind of like you're wiping a window. Yeah. So there you go. Now you can also use your numeric keys, like see right now it's, if you use 0, it's all the way up. If I hit 5, see how it goes to halfway. Actually, that gives you your density. Flow works a little better when you're just kind of wiping back and forth. Density is nice because you can kind of build it up as you go. You know, so you can kind of play around and go back and forth. See, that's a little too much, so I'll go back and take some away. There you go. And again, you've got a mount slider here, so you can play with that and see where you want to go. So that's how I would take care of that. Just kind of balance everything in by using selective masks for your color corrections. Okay.
So this I took down in Acapulco
Mhm.
and, you know, kind of as evening comes and all the boats come in for the day and kind of, a whole slew of boats, so I was attracted by that and nice sunset, so.
Yeah. I haven't been down there since.
Blue Bayou.
Nice. Yeah, there weren't too many boats when we were there. I haven't been down there since like the late 60s, early 70s, so it's been time. I'm sure it's changed completely. As everything has. Yeah, it's hard to go back.
This is big. And, like I said, I just added a sharpening filter on it and, wanted the boat to come out a little bit clearer. I don't know, I think it's just, a nice, kind of a loose scene. It's composition. Yeah.
Mhm.
Is what you said? Nice composition. Oh,
Yeah, it works really well.
it just
stays quiet.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Now, some of you might want to play with clarity, like we were talking about before. Wish I could get rid of this thing. Hang on a second. Can I move this? Yeah, there you go. Okay. Let's just,
See, what I did is I took this, this was a photograph I took many years ago.
mhm,
And back in the days before digital photography. And lenses were not as good as they are now, really,
Mhm.
back in the day. So that was just, you know, the fact is that, you know, you had not as good a resolution.
right. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do portraits still like the older lenses because they're more forgiving on people's faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different thing.
Yeah, but when you're doing landscape, you want to get them crisp. I've noticed a lot of the slides I scan into, plus, you know, the fact that you're going from slide to digital as well, it's kind of hard
Lose a little
sometimes.
bit.
Yeah, you end up losing a little bit there too. I'm gonna try something just to see what works. I was just kind of offhand thinking of doing maybe a gradation, a linear gradient here, and see if we can maybe add a little something to this by playing around with clarity. Where are you? Okay. And doing a negative clarity. There you go. Kind of give it a glowy feel to it.
You know?
And even maybe take texture down because it takes it more out of focus. And I think there's a sharpness. Yeah, we can take that down too. Yeah. And I think I might want to affect it even more. So go back on the mask. See if it'll show me on the overlay. Yeah. Yeah, so that's something you might want to play with too, to get a little more depth and dimension to it,
Yeah,
make it a little more dreamy.
You know,
Yeah. So there's your,
when I use Clarity, I've always used it the other way.
yeah, you did the opposite. Yeah, yeah. So that's something else you can do with that particular part of the panel, which is down here. So basically your effects area where you got clarity and I don't know, let's see what dehaze. Yeah, you could make it more dramatic or less, you know. There's a lot of things to play around with it. Yeah.
I like that richness there.
Effect panel. And then if you want to go a step further, you can kind of it's a little more advanced, go into your curves, and maybe this is just a little too bright. Go into your reds and kind of pull them down a little bit. Reds and blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's getting a little oversaturated. So we go up here. The saturation, kind of just dial that back a little bit. Yeah. And then the other thing, again, you get the amount, you can play with it there too.
Mm.
You're right about there. So it almost looks like you got a little fog on the island and back here. You get kind of an atmospheric effect going. Yeah, so kind of give you a little before and after. Do redo, yeah. Just a thought. As long as we're playing. Okay.
Wow, what,
oh, wow.
whoa.
So this is up in the Four Corners area
Mhm.
and always, you know, great night shots. But And it was a moonlit night as well. And so, I had a bit of trouble getting a balance between, and went through a whole bunch of, film to, get the right exposure.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
That's kind of the best I came up with.
Was this film days or digital?
Film,
Yeah.
no, this was digital.
It was digital, but so you went through a lot of exposures. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's tough. The moon is really brighter than you think, especially out in these really clear areas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
How long was the exposure?
about 30 seconds, I think.
30 seconds.
Wow.
Almost looks like infrared.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Pretty short.
Yeah, they're really tough. So this is the Pueblo de Tucson Festival that I think they have in, December or something like that.
Oh my God.
And, this
Is it
is
Is that at the
when they
pres-
do the colonial, the reliving of colonial days and
Mhm,
1776 in Tucson,
mhm.
And so, this was my attempt at, kind of an old timey effect, but yet at the same time, you knew that it was still
Yeah.
colorful.
Almost has a hand colored quality.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Very nice. I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that worked out pretty well.
yeah, this one was called, let's see, what was that called? It's called,
Decaying?
yeah, decaying, laurel, they called it. And, it's just a topaz filter.
Yeah, so Topaz Studio 2 filter.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's a nice one.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Let me eject that. And you guys could. Oops, looks like I need to, did I get it? Hang on here 1 second. Yeah, it's down. Okay, good. All right, I'll pass that back. Thanks, Steve. Okay.
Wait, Sandy James brought in a thumb drive?
He
Is that
did,
what was just happening?
yeah, he did, because he, at the last minute, changed some things that he had already sent. You can see he
Okay.
uploaded as well. I prefer you guys use Dropbox, but, yeah. All right, let's go to Kim.
Mm.
Some old stuff, I've been out shooting lately. This is in, Crown Hill Cemetery in Indianapolis. And, heavy fog one morning, so I went dashing to the cemetery.
Brave soul.
So actually, this is all done in Lightroom.
Mhm.
Played with the clarity, dehaze a little bit. I wanted to bring out the background just a little bit. You can see kind of a mausoleum back there and tree. And then I had it's just a statue of a young child at some gravesite.
Mhm.
But the water dripping off of it from the fog and everything is
Yeah.
just really. Just made it pop a little bit more, and I just, actually I took it into Topaz just to bring up the detail a bit, and that sort of thing.
Mhm. Nice. Yeah, I like the fact that it's almost black and white, but not quite, you know.
And this is out there the same morning,
Hmm.
Mhm.
converted it to black and white. The grave markers to the right of the trees are the, Civil War area, is the Civil War area of the cemetery. This is a gorgeous.
Mhm.
Wow.
There's a couple presidents buried there, Dillinger's buried there.
Hmm.
Um,
Where is this again?
Indianapolis, Crown Hill Cemetery.
Really? So Presidents and Dillinger.
Yeah.
How about that?
James Whitman Riley is buried there. So I just like the effect, the switching this over to black and white, and I called it Memento Mori.
Oh,
You really got the mood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I like what's going on here with this tree. That's good.
yeah.
Pointing the way.
And then this is in Bon Air 7 years ago.
Ah,
And I
okay.
look at the date on the pictures, it's like, how long has it been since we've been there?
More for me.
This was a hotel that never got completed.
Ah,
Mm.
When, I'm sure when the recession hit, a lot of stuff came screeching to a halt. And this is just along one of the shores and just has been graffiti. I
wow.
just liked all the different designs that are on it,
Yeah.
different pictures, and I ran it through a topaz. I put it into a topaz preset, a filter, vibrant grunge.
There you go.
And I just felt that kind of fit
Mhm.
with the,
Yeah.
Well, somebody had a lot of turquoise paint, I
Yeah.
see.
Nice.
and putting the grunge filter on it kind of gave it a bit more of that yellow cast, brought the whites down a bit, because it was you've been there, so you know how bright and sunny it is.
Yeah.
Where is this place?
Bon Air,
The ABC Islands, just north of Venezuela.
yeah,
Oh.
Curacao.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Bon Air is more of a diver's island. It's not really, there's not really any sandy beaches. They're all kind of crushed beaches, crushed stone, crushed coral beaches.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a diver's.
Yeah, there is a desert arid area in
Yes.
the north. If you dive a lot and you want to fly home, you usually do a surface stay. So it's a good place to go. And
Right.
they've got iguanas and all kinds of things up there. So it's kind of
Oh.
fun. Yeah.
Kim,
Yes.
I wanted to offer you a comment as well, like I did with Dave's Bird of Paradise. The screen I'm looking at is not very rich. And when I watched on TV, the playback, your bicycle was absolutely gorgeous with color.
Yeah, that color was wonderful.
And I couldn't see it on my screen. So beautiful picture the last time when you showed the bicycle.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, beautiful picture.
All right.
Okay, we're back at Crown Hill again. Took this into camera raw to bring, this is a mausoleum
Mhm.
and stained glass window behind the bars. I like the difference between the pattern of the stained glass behind there, and then you've got all the metal work coming down. Took it into camera raw, brought out the colors a bit more, the detail and everything in the stained glass. I just played with it there and in Lightroom. I didn't put any other kind of filter on that.
Mhm. Yeah, I like it. It's quite a contrast.
So the bars are to keep the rocks from getting the stained glass to keep it from breaking?
I'm assuming so. I
Yeah,
have no
keep
idea.
people from breaking into it.
Yeah. Yeah, but yet, they created a design with the bars too, just so it didn't look like, jailhouse bars or anything like
Right.
that.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Nice colors.
And then this is back in Bon Air again.
Yeah.
Took this again into topaz and I used one of the impressionism strokes. It was the soft strokes.
Mhm.
It just gave, to make it look like I envisioned a painting type look to it. And so then it kind of created texture to this, because the sky was just flat. So it kind
It's
of.
nice.
Remember when I showed you that picture of those piles of conch?
Yes,
There they are.
there they are.
Yeah, they're all the way back there.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. They bring all the conch up, they dig them out and throw the shells up on a pile.
There's an
Yeah.
area on I don't know which side of the island it would be, which is all a windsurfer's
Yeah,
paradise.
yeah, it's all windward side, yeah.
And it's just amazing to watch these boats and the little kids learning how to do it.
If you ever try, you get a real appreciation for it.
I don't think I did.
Yeah, getting that sail out of the water is something
Yeah.
else, yeah. You know, and then you start putting your back into it, next thing you know, you're off the side. So, yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Paula, let's get your stuff up.
Hmm.
I don't remember where these were located, but I think it was probably in Disney World somewhere. And I just gave it a art feeling canvas, brought up some of the contrast, the colors a little bit more.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah. I wonder if a little vignette might give it a little depth,
Mhm.
you know,
Or a white vignette.
or a white vignette since it's already kind of down the light side.
Mhm.
Yeah. That could work. Yeah, let's see here real quick. Probably find one in Camera Raw rather than go to another program. Let's see here. Somewhere in here. Maybe under effects.
There it is.
There we go. Let's go that way.
Oh, yeah.
But then you know you can play with your roundness and your feathering. You know, you could kind of
Oh,
really feather it out.
Yeah.
Just your midpoint. Yeah, something like that. And then once you've got that, you could kind of lighten it or darken it to your heart's content. There you go.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
like that.
Mhm. Okay.
Hmm.
This I think was Myrtle Beach, and I just put it into a black and white and brought up some of the detail in the sand and the birds in the background, middle section.
Mhm.
Let the people go dark.
Yeah, I think your interest is here. I wonder if cropping it down might be,
Yeah, I thought of that.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe get rid of some of that foreground and maybe coming out of this last set of breakers here, something like that. There you go.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep,
That's a big difference.
Yeah, I think that'll help it out a bit.
Let's see the lines.
Mhm.
Everybody's going to the party.
Yeah. Yeah.
this was, it could have been Disneyland or Disney World. That's actually Big Thunder from the backside.
Hmm.
And I
Mhm.
just put it on a canvas type texture.
Oh, yeah, you can see the detail now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Amigo.
It looks like it could be in the Southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. I thought it was real.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
When I was working on it, Chris asked me, "Is that Sedona?" I said, "No, it's Big Thunder," and he just laughed.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
I wasn't sure about this one. I cropped it in real tight and worked on the piping and changed the background color
Mhm.
a little bit. And I'm not sure I'm really crazy about this one.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe keep him where he's at and darken this background a little bit and bring up his eye a little more. I think you'll probably
Mhm.
a little more in there.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the contrast. And the size relationship
Yeah.
and the textures, yeah.
Mhm.
Nice. Did you smooth these out with a mask or was that just your focus?
I did use a mask, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That middle section, you can tell that I had, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
streaky.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
This is actually a waterfall. Man-made.
Mhm.
Again, either, I think it was Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
And I just like the contrast of the, looks like there's a half of each face.
Mhm.
So and I left the background as it was.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that works out all right. You might try and darken up the areas that are not the face, just to get the face to pop a little more.
Okay,
You know, that might work for you. All right. Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Mhm. Thanks, Paula.
Well, I guess that's it. But I
Okay.
got some more people stuff here. Take a look at that. Oh, and got my shows hung. We hung it yesterday over at Desert Hill. You guys want to get over there? And if you want to join us on Friday night, we're gonna have an opening as well. So
Awesome.
please come by, and say hi.
Mhm.
All right, back to Japan.
Sandy, were you in the area where there, at all where the earthquake hit?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I just wrote some people up there to see how they're doing, but I haven't heard back yet.
Okay.
Yeah, those that see my stuff on Facebook, I had a torii gate out in the water with a break front behind it. That was right on that peninsula that got hit where the epicenter was.
Oh, geez.
Oh.
So it's still there, yeah. It's kinda- Yeah. Kind of creepy. Well, this was in Kyoto. There's a bamboo forest there. Were you in there, Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, for images, but I was in queue.
yeah. We got there toward the end of the day, almost evening. I was kind of hoping to get it where it wasn't so crowded, but the light kind of got tough. So these are pushed a little bit. And then I took advantage of a slower shutter. We got kind of a blur motion going on this one. Yeah,
What
so
speed is that?
what's that?
What speed?
Oh, I don't know, maybe about a 60th or less. I can't remember.
I was on a bike.
Yeah, he's in a rickshaw. Yeah. So I was basically panning,
Right.
yeah.
Just wondering.
And as soon as I saw his face between, I clicked it and
Mm.
I was kind of able to get everybody. So it's kind of nice, you know, having kind of create some depth there. So that was kind of fun. Yeah, and a little more of a traditional rickshaw shot there.
Do they use a lot of rickshaws just for normal?
It's tourists.
It's tourists.
Yeah, it's mostly tourists for hire type of stuff. Yeah, you know.
Why do they both have hands? Is it hot?
I didn't think it was that warm. You know, a lot of times they'll rent, I would imagine they rented these kimonos. You know, they have these rental shops where the men and women can rent kimonos. A lot of teenagers do as well. And then, you know, they'll go to the shrines or the tourist areas and walk around and the fans might have been an accessory that they gave them. So, you know.
Day gone by, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. This was out on an island. There was a group of little islands that were kind of after recession falling apart. And so to revitalize them, they started doing art installations on these islands and they opened up about 6 really nice galleries as well as a museum there. This was just out in front of one of them. And this woman asked me to take a couple pictures of her from the front with her camera, and I said, "Oh, I really like these shadows. You mind if I shoot you from the back?" So the shot I got. And then this was just kind of an evening shot. Oh, everybody running around with their little selfie sticks. They all like to do the little peace sign thing, which is kind of fun. Yeah,
That's cute.
yeah, so it seems to be pretty common. And one of the shrines.
He's coloring.
Yeah, the reds really pop even on dull days. It's pretty amazing. And again, some women walking at kimonos. I think these were the only two people I photographed that didn't like having their picture taken, because I came around the front to try and do it, and they go, no, 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 no. But I already had this shot, so I guess they didn't mind. They didn't know. Book signings, yeah, or calligraphy, though, the new calligraphy, you can kind of see a little bit right here, yeah. At the shrines, they have like a little shop there where you can get all these things that you can leave as offerings or little badges with stuff on them that you can hang up in trees. They're made of wood for good luck and so forth, that kind of thing.
That sign doesn't say no photography.
Yeah, most of the shrines, when you went inside, you could not. It was kind of difficult. Yeah, I just liked her attitude.
Mhm.
I did darken the background a bit to get her to pop some.
Did you get, near Tukishama? I don't know if you know that place or not.
Yeah, I believe we did. The name sounds familiar, but.
My brother's got a place in, Fukushima, rather.
Fukushima, yeah, we did go there. Oh, I wish I'd known that. We could have visited them. We did visit some friends' niece in Tokyo. That was kind of nice.
Yeah, well, my brother married a Japanese girl,
Mhm.
and so
Mhm.
it just was curious,
Yeah, yeah.
if you had any pictures of.
I can look. Yeah, I might.
Sandy,
Send me an email, remind me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Sandy, he's offering her his mostly eaten ice cream cone.
Yeah, I think they were actually sharing it. That was kind of toward the tail end there.
That's cute.
Yeah.
How does that look? Are you kidding?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
Can you spare it? Yeah, and I'm guessing they rented those outfits as well. And this little darling.
Cute.
But how many of just everyday wear does this kind of thing? Is it special?
It's special occasions and when they go to the shrines. I can't remember, maybe it's a 2, 3, 4-year-old. They take them in. It's almost like a christening. They'll take them to the shrine and have a little ceremony, and there's photographers there documenting it and so forth, And they also do it, I think, when they're early teens as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we just.
So,
catch one.
Sandy, can you wear your regular street clothes into a shrine?
Yeah, you wear anything you want except your shoes.
You take your shoes off.
Exactly. You have to take your shoes off. Places have bags, so you just take them with you because you might exit in another place than the point that you entered, or ones where you come out the same area, they have racks. And some places have slippers that you get into as well. So you're not walking around in your stocking feet.
And you tried those wooden shoes with the
I did, yeah.
heels.
Yeah, they're a little tough. Well, they have kind of like a part or across the just below the toes, maybe between the toes and the arch, and then toward the back near the heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're a little tricky to walk in.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And this was in Tokyo. Actually, this was when we were with my friend's niece, and they were having a parade there with all those big lanterns, and
It's
there were
good.
people setting up and this woman was in the parade and she was kind of getting ready to go. I just liked her,
It's nice.
the way it matched her kimono, And kind of the low light, it was dusk and the streetlights were starting to come on. It's kind of a low light situation. And yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Nice.
Background in that one, so
Uh,
that you get the color. but-
Yeah, this was basically a natural fall off from optically. I didn't intentionally blur it any further than it already is.
Mhm.
A lot of times I will, to bring someone out. I did darken it a little bit to make her pop a little more. In fact, no, I think I went the other way on this one. I actually lightened her a little bit and she was almost silhouette.
I'm just gonna say there's two images there. I see
Yeah.
two images.
Yeah, yeah, and then you got the background I left, the exposure it was at. Yeah. Let me stop sharing here and stop the recording.